生まれたのましが mahalo. You know, the interesting thing is one of the elders, so normally we let our elders and our kupuna kind of run the show and do the ceremonies, because in our belief, in our tradition, is the kupuna and the mo'opuna, the youngest, the children, they're the closest to the spirit world. So they're the ones who can get in touch with the other side. But, you know, I was asked here by Pete and fortunately blessed by the elders that taught me, originally taught by quite a few number of kupuna actually, but the one that comes to mind is Maka'io, is particularly Kalani Su's out of Ke'anai, from the Ke'ualani and Koko line, for those familiar with the family lines in Hana and that particular region of Ke'anai. And one of the things for us too is those kupuna, those standing springs, they're the ones who flood us with the wisdom that allows us to nourish as if you're luckily selected by the kupuna, there's something called the puna hele, the one who continues the puna, the spring, the source that heles it into the next generations. So fortunately in my time, or unfortunate so, got blessed with being the puna hele of some kupuna, and able to do these things with their blessing, of course, and open these spaces. One of the things, and amongst other things in which we bring to this space when we think about how can you say no to peace, right? And there's this reminder that I had because one of my other mentors, Kumu Ramsey Tom, he teaches this thing called lua. Anybody familiar with what lua is? It's a Hawaiian combat art. It's known as the bone-breaking art because it's a serious skill set. You learn how to break bones. But the thing about conflict and the thing about war, should we say, is in lua, before you can learn how to break bones, you need to learn how to heal them. There's no sense in taking something apart unless you know how to put it back together. So when we think about this idea of peace and what that definition means, it means a lot of different things to different people, as I've come to find. By the way, my name is Kainoa, hail from just over those mountains. But one of the things in the definition of peace is it has different definitions to different people. When we're negotiating peace, as we continue to negotiate such with the United States military and thinking about their future here in Hawaii, one of the things that came to mind in the talks out of Makua Valley was they had a different definition of peace because they're like, we're all trying to achieve the same thing. We're all trying to achieve peace. But the question was, what does peace mean to you? And for the US military and that particular meeting, peace meant the defeat of their enemy. It's after the death of the force that opposes us. That's what peace is. Versus for us, in the understanding of our kupuna, peace is the influx of harmony. So what are the conditions that we need to create harmony in this world, to live with one another? We've often lived in a world, and one of the things that the ceremonies and the rituals teach us is that we're in a place of relation, in relation to the natural world that's around us, and in relation to a commitment to better the conditions for each other. And in that shift of the understanding, to shift from a doctrine of discovery, which is based so much on transaction, into the quid pro quo of I scratch your back, you scratch mine. How do we change the behaviors and how do we shift how we all live together in order to create that influx of harmony? One of the things that I'm reminded about that one of my elders always teaches me, he said, you know, boy, Hawaii is a place, it's not a race. It's a way of being, it's a way of living. To be Ha, the breath of life, to be Vai, the life-giving waters, and to be I, the supreme spirit that recognizes our spiritual connection to all things. So as much as at this time where it may seem like so much is at a distance, we have to remember it's the roots and the principles in which we're all connected. And to be connected again in the deep, as they say. So I really hope that some of this ike kupuna, some of the ancestral knowledge that comes forward inspires each and every one of you to make this place better for those who are from here, and to continue to strive and lessen the distance and remind about our deeper connections at a deeper level, whether it's from the heart, from the spirit, to really shift the world. You know, they always say it's like what can one person do? Well, I know a lot of great people and I can keep quoting them, so there must be a lot of good examples. So if 1% of the world can get us to where we are today in the conditions that we're experiencing, imagine if 1% in every community who is striving to do a little bit of good in this world and striving to change those conditions, to shift the behaviors we experience on each and every day, if that 1% remain committed. So if only 13 people in the history of Hawaii could make a committee of safety and get us to this particular place, imagine what a group of all of us in this room can accomplish if we put our minds to it. So leaving with that little inspiration, and as the elders tell us, it doesn't begin right. It doesn't end right if it doesn't begin right. That's why we opened up with the pu. So most people don't know the Hawaiian word for pule, or as we say now in English, prayer. The Hawaiian word for prayer is pule, but it's on the understanding of it begins with the sound of the pu, the conch shell, or the pu'ohe, the bamboo trumpet. And it's that sound that calls for the spiritual energy, that leles, that sends it into the physical space. So that's the word for pule. So we'll now open up with the pule after we concluded with the different other traditions in our opening. Mahalo e te atua, i na uhane i te wai. Mahalo e te la, i na wahine o ke kai. Mahalo ia wākia, i kane i ka wai. Mahalo ia e papahana o motu, e pai ainga e ora mai. Mahalo e hina, ka le kuhi mana i ike mai. Mahalo e mahina nui, a mai ta pō a i te au. Mahalo e melene, e hula pā, e ho'oponopono. Mahalo ia kāko, e mana opono, e na au. Mahalo e te atua, e na uhane i ta wai, o kane i ka wai ona. Thank you to the Creator who stands behind all things, to the Spirit that is the water. Thank you to the woman who is the sea and the grandfather sun, and for the blessing that is the rain. Thank you to the earth mother on whom we all reside. And thank you to the grandmother moon for bringing us the knowledge of the times and the tides. Thank you to the great grandmother who from the darkness of space brought us the light. Thank you for the song, for the dance, and for the opportunity to make things right. And thank you to each and every one of you for doing what you feel is right. Thank you again to the Creator, Mahalo e te atua, who stands behind all things, to the Spirit that is the water, in the uhane i te wai, o kane i ka wai ola. Mahalo, pa'i pa'i lima. Thank you. And thank you again, Pete, for the opportunity. That reminds us we're all connected in the deep, and hope you felt a little bit of the spiritual feeling. But blessings to each and every one of you as we talk not just peace, but harmony. Mahalo.
Chuganamira, Mensori Yotai. Aloha. My name is Joanne Yoshimori, and I'm a member of Jikoen Hongwanji. We'd like to welcome you today. And I start off by showing all of you this photo taken 68 years ago, in 1957, when Jikoen started our first Irei No Hi, as our group traveled to Okinawa with our resident minister then, Reverend Jikai Yamasato. So we begin our program today. Mahalo.
Good afternoon, everyone. Well, as a minister, it's like a gathering in the afternoon is the first time for me. Usually 9 o'clock start in the temple, but so I had a very relaxing time this morning. Thank you so much. Well, I remember 20 years ago, we had first the Irei No Hi memorial service in the temple. It was a small gathering, but we invited, the survivors, Battle of Okinawa survivors, to share how they survive and how they have a very difficult time. Now 20 years, I'm so happy to open our doors to the public, community, the public. And look, everybody, all different people, different community, you came here to think about the war and the peace. Well, now in the world, the many wars, the issues happening. And even now, this moment, small children, women, all the people, they die. So today, we're here to say, stop the war and keep a peace. In the Buddhism, Shakyamuni Buddha said, the universal truth is a peace and harmony. So peace and harmony is a universal practice in our everyday, our lives. So today, I'd like to ask everyone to join me in a moment of silence in memory of the countless people that died during the Battle of Okinawa. And also, in every moment now, people die by war. So please close your eyes and join me in a moment of meditations. Let us walk together on the path of peace, embraced by the great compassion that unites us all. Namo Amida Butsu. Thank you very much.
Haita Gusuyo Chuga Navira, one day Sam Yaibin, Yuta Sarugutu Nige Sabira. So, aloha mai kako, my name is Sammy Kehara. I am a member of the Hawaii Okinawa Alliance, one of the organizers of today's event. And I will be your MC for today. Thanks for your patience with me in advance. So today, as you all know, is Irei No Hi. It's a public holiday or day of mourning in Okinawa that's dedicated to remembering the Battle of Okinawa and its ongoing legacies. And so for those who may not be super familiar, the Battle of Okinawa formally started in April 1945, and it's often called the bloodiest battle of the Pacific theater of the Second World War. The Japanese military forces on Okinawa were engaging in a battle of attrition, and so they were trying to hold out for as long as possible to delay an invasion of the Japanese mainland, or Hondo. And in this process, nearly a quarter of Okinawa's civilian population were killed by various violent means, whether they were caught in the crossfires of US and Japanese fighting, or forced to commit suicide, or starving to death, amongst many other tragic fates. And so in this way, Japan knowingly sacrificed Okinawa and Okinawan people in an effort to save Japan. And as some of our speakers will discuss today, the sacrificing of Okinawa by Japan continues to the present in many complicated ways. And for this reason, many people in Okinawa and throughout the diaspora and around the world feel as though the Battle of Okinawa never truly ended. And so Irei No Hi translates literally as a day to console the dead. And so when we think of Irei No Hi, we're not only thinking of passive acts of remembrance and the facts of history, but active ways that we can honor our Uya Fafuji or our Okinawan ancestors, and think critically about what our sukubun or our kuleana or our responsibility is today to them, to Okinawa, to the places we now call home, and how can we work towards peace together. And so we have a super exciting lineup of speakers and performances today, and as you all may have noticed, the event is being live streamed, so we have people from all over the world joining us, so hey world. And it's being recorded, so we'll be able to enjoy the wisdom that's shared today and the performances shared today for a long time. And so before we dive into our program, I want us all to take a second to pause and say hi tai to your neighbor, and introduce yourself if you don't already know them. If you do already know them, say hi again. So go ahead. Okay, awesome. Thanks, everyone. Irei No Hi is all about community. I think of Jikoen as a really amazing community space, and it's only through our relationships with our neighbors and the people we love that we'll see through the difficulties of life that we face. And so, as you all may have guessed, we're going to be moving through some kind of heavy things today as we kind of reflect on war and imagine peace. So now, I want us to all kind of take a second to take a breath together. Okay, and I'm not very seasoned in this, but I feel like we can do it. Okay, so everyone just take a deep breath in, slowly and hold it. And then maybe take a sip, like you're sipping through a straw, just a little bit more air, and hold it. And then slowly exhale. Okay, awesome, everybody. Thank you. So yes, so the first thing that we'll be going through today is firsthand testimony from a survivor of the Battle of Okinawa named Furugen and they're pulling up the video right now, so it'll be playing on the screen and there'll be subtitles, so hopefully everyone can see them okay. And so Furugen Sanayoshi was born in 1929 in Kunigami-son in Okinawa, and at the end of March 1945, when he was 15 years old, he was drafted into what's called in English the Blood and Iron Loyalist Student Corporation. And so this video that we're going to be showing was produced by Vice Japan in 2015 when they traveled to Okinawa for the 70th anniversary of the war as a last chance to talk to survivors of the battle. And so we're just playing a short kind of 9-minute portion of this first episode featuring Furugen-san that's entitled The Battlefield That Young Soldiers Saw. And so we chose this clip to emphasize not the historical facts of war and the numbers of history, but the emotions and memories, right, that haunt the present and that may stay with us. So I will, okay, we need a couple seconds as the video gets ready. So. I was going to share this after the video, but now since we have a gift of this little moment together now, while the video is getting ready, I did want to share that this was taken on the 70th anniversary of the war in 2015 and it's 2025, so we're now on the 80th anniversary of the Battle of Okinawa. And as I was kind of preparing to introduce Furugen-san's, oh, there we go. Okay, never mind. I'm going to share it after all.
自活班からそれから軍司令部のね発電施設そこの作業につけられました。その作業というのは発電施設がある近くの井戸からね冷却水その冷却水を運んでずっと供給するというねそういう作業 5月の4日でしたけどね、真夜中、友人の西目君というのと2人で沖に水を担いで何回かね、移動行ったり来たりして、ドラム缶もいっぱいになったなということで、暫時休憩しようと、そのような会話を交わしてね、発電機そのものが置かれているところはちょっとくぼみだったんですよ。僕はその発電機のそばにね、降りとったんです、私は。ところがこの西目君という友人は、置かれているこのドラム缶、水溜めてある水を冷却水として流すわけですから、少し高いところに置く。そのドラム缶のそばには立っておったんだね。沖縄の5月4日というのは暑いですからね、作業しても多分汗を拭いたりなどそんなことをしとったんでしょう。その時にね、資金弾が飛んできてパッというね光があって、でそれで、なんか物が倒れる音がした感じがあったんで、僕は覗いたんです。彼が立っておったと、一言もなしにね、即死でした。で首のね半分からここの肩はね半分えぐられて、一言もなく軍司令部は、敗退して5月の27日にね、首里から沖縄本島南端の真振の方に移っていきます。これはもう一生涯ついて回るような思い出っていうのがあるんで、農道にねお母さんが倒れてるわけです。モンペ服をつけているお母さんなんですがね、見るからにね、このモンペ服そのものがパンパン腫れてるわけです。倒れて腐敗がね進んで、そのお母さんのね上をね、お母さんが青森県に倒れていました。上をねまだ歩けない赤ちゃんがね、もう何かに追われている形で幸せそうにね這い回ってるわけです。お乳を飲んでる赤ちゃんっていうのは 2,3 時間ねおっぱいをあげないだけども泣き出し求める、そういうあれでしょ。それを見てねみんな立ち止まったんですよ。ところがもう誰一人言葉一つないわけね。出る言葉がないんですよ。みんな思いは一つだったと思うんです。この赤ちゃんなんとかならんもんか、誰かが手を差し伸べないとどうにもならない赤ちゃんなんだが、自分たちは団体行動でしょう。立ち止まったもののね、そういう状況を見て、そのまま一言も誰もなしにまた立ち去ったんです。それね、もう戦が終わって70年になるでしょ。毎年ね、私は3月になるというと、地獄のような 戦のあった3月というそういう月日が今年も回ってきたなというふうな3月から6月までね、今時はどうだったなということをこういうの思いに、つながるようなそういうものが毎年繰り返してくる。その戦のことをね、思い起こすというと真っ先にねその赤ちゃんのことをね、思い起こすんです。この赤ちゃんもね漢方にやられたのかなと、力尽きてねそこでもう死んでしまったのかな。誰かそこを通ってね拾い上げてくれる者がおって、戦後ねその赤ちゃんが生き延びるとそういう方向につながらなかったかなと、そういう思いをね繰り返し繰り返すんです。だから戦後70年繰り返し考えてみてもねちっともそこで終わるという結論が出ないんですよ。自分を責めるんですよ。なぜ助けなかったか、助けることができる状況に全くないのになぜ手を差し伸べることをしなかったか、できなかったか。師範学校の野田貞夫という校長先生とね、井口という配属将校と小羽倉という最上級の3人がねひょっこりうちらが入り込んでいるこの岩陰の方入ってきました。岩陰といっているのも作られた壕などというものが、何もあるんじゃないんです。サンゴ石灰がね海岸転がってるわけです。この転がってる隙間にみんなに潜っているわけで、そこにね左手にねすでに亡くなった人たちの犠牲者の名簿を書かれてる。すでにね110何人命を失った。手にされながら校長先生は本当にね心の底からねこの後悔の念をね、もう絞り出すような形での話をされましたね。こうなると思えばね軍命に従うべくもなかったと。当時軍命というのは天皇陛下の命令同じです。当時言われる軍命というのは天皇陛下は神様ですよ。神様にね嫌味を言うとかね立ち向かうなとかいうものを絶対に許されない。校長先生は最後の土壇場で自ら負っておった責任も考えながら後悔の念をね、本当に気持ちに、もう絞り出すような形でおっしゃった言葉だと思うんだが、この命令に従うべくもなかった。こうなると思えばね、せめて君たちだけでも親元に返しておくんだったと言います。でたくさんのね若者が命を落とした。これからのね沖縄は 君たちが背負って立つんだとおっしゃるわけですよ。そして絶対死んじゃいかんと、そのことを強調されるわけです。死ぬなよって、絶対死ぬなと。ところがこの校長先生は我々も一足先にその号3人でね出て行かれたけども、途中で他のね学生たちも一緒になって数人海岸線をね、歩いているさなかに艦砲が飛んできてね、亡くなったらしい。よくよく考えてみれば、生きるも死ぬもどんどん飛んでくるその弾の前で偶然以外にないわけで、運がよくて幸いにもなんとか自分が助かったものとの結びつきでね説明をしようもんならね、亡くなった人々というのは、同僚たちというのはね、お前が運が悪かったな、運が悪くて命を落としたんだなということになってしまうじゃないかという考えで、そんなことでいいのかと。あなたの息子は運が悪くて亡くなりましたなと、こんなねことが言えるもんかと。世の中がただならぬ状況に置かれている、そういう時であるだけにね、黙っておってはいかんよと。
Hello? Is it good? Okay. Thanks, Jesse. So, what I was mentioning before we watched the video is that Furugen-san is still alive, and he was widely interviewed this year again for the 80th anniversary of the Battle of Okinawa, and he's 95 years old now. After the war, he had a long career as a lawyer and a politician working for peace for Okinawa, and I just wanted to include a couple sentences from an interview he did this year. In the interview, he admitted that he was hesitant to be interviewed again because his memory is he's not as confident in his memory, but when the requests come in, he still does it. And he said that he decided to do it despite his memory issues because he still feels compelled to tell the stories of his friends who have passed away. And he said, direct quote, "As long as I'm alive, I want to do my best to tell the stories of my friends since they aren't able to themselves. It's not enough to just cry in their memory. We have to keep their stories alive too." Yeah. And so now we're going to slowly transition to the next thing. And so our amazing tech team, yay tech team, let's give them a hand. We'll be watching a video of a song that was prepared by Norman Kaneshiro, who unfortunately could not be with us today. He is currently flying to Okinawa as we speak. But he was so instrumental in the organizing of today's event and even the preparation that we were here doing yesterday. So everybody, thank you, Norman, wherever you are. And so while they're getting the video ready, he prepared a little message for me to say about the video that we're going to watch. Okay, so is my volume okay? Okay, cool. So, Kanpu no Kuensa was written by Kobin Higa and recorded by his 4 daughters, who are known as the immensely popular musical group Daigo Musume. The song was a hit single when it was released in 1975 and has since become somewhat of an anthem for Irei No Hi. However, what many people may not know is that the song is somewhat of an autobiographical chronicle of Kobin's own tragic experiences. Sorry, Okay. He lost his parents and eldest son when the Tsushima Maru was torpedoed on August 22, 1944, just an aside, by the USS Bowfin, which is on display at Pearl Harbor. So not long after, Kobin's wife and second son were killed in an air raid in Osaka. Destitute and devastated, Kobin could not even afford burial for his dead wife and child, so he set them afloat to sea in a bureau drawer he recovered from his home. Kobin eventually remarried and had 7 children. He trained his 4 daughters in Okinawan music, and they formed Daigo Musume in the 1960s. In a cruel twist of fate, Kobin and his wife Shige were killed in 1973 when a drunk US Marine hit their car on their way home from one of their daughters' performances. Kobin never got to hear his daughter's recording of what would eventually become his most famous song. The imagery of the word kuen nukusa, half-eaten leftovers, refers not only to the way war savagely devours the land and its people, but also to how those who wage war dismiss the value of human lives as disposable, waste. In the song's chorus, the use of both the honorific and plain forms of you in uchinaguchi, unju and ya, is a reminder of how war indiscriminately destroys lives regardless of age or seniority. Probably the most curious feature of the song is the sharp disparity between its upbeat rhythm and melody and its heartbreaking lyrics. As balance is an important aspect of Okinawan music and performance, the music is meant to offset the pure tragedy of the actual memories and experiences that took Kobin almost 20 years to finally set to paper and allow an otherwise unspeakable story to be shared aloud. And so, do we need a minute? Oh, we're good? Okay, cool. Roll.
阳光送我呀，叫人。
Okay, thank you again to Norman for preparing that video for all of us to experience. And so our next speaker is zooming in from Okinawa. It is, I think, 8 a.m. there. So let's all thank Hatsuho for waking up early to be with us today. And while we're pulling her up on screen right now, I'm going to just introduce her a little bit. So Hatsuho Kinjo is of both Japanese and Okinawan descent, and she was born in Japan but raised in Okinawa. She is currently in UH Manoa's Curriculum Studies program, where she's studying place-based education and also Pacific Island Studies. There she is! Hi, Hatsuho! Everybody say hi, Hatsuho! Yay! I don't know if she can see us actually, sorry, but she felt it. Okay, awesome. So I will just hand it over to Hatsuho. Hi, Hatsuho, can you hear us? Oh, I heard something. Can you try to say something again? Does she sound soft to people, or is it just me? She's soft, okay. Oh, 1 second. 1 second, sorry. Is there a way to up her volume a little bit?
See what we can do. Can she try talk for us?
Oh, can you turn up your volume a little, Hatsuho?
Yes.
Or wait. Or yeah, okay, sorry, can you try to say something? Can she hear me? I don't think she, okay. Hatsuho, can you hear me? Yeah, I don't think she can hear me. Oh, she said yes? Oh, you can? Okay.
What about me?
Oh, is it a little better? Can everyone hear? Okay. Perfect. Okay, we're ready, if you are.
Okay. Hello, I'm Hatsuho from Okinawa. Can you hear me? Okay. Then, can I start? Okay.
Yes, please. Thank you.
始めてもいい？始めてもいい？
Yes.
いいかな？大丈夫？待って、聞こえてるのかな？
Yes. お願いします。
Okay. Wait. I start. It's like. Okay. Alright, then let's start. Hopefully my screen is working. Ahupua kako and also I divisui Chiranabira. When the Hatsuemi, Urasui Kacharitan, between the Samita. And today I'm going to talk about my presentation is mainly our perspectives of young Okinawan generation who grew up in Okinawa. And this is also kind of, is it? I can do. Wait. Okay. What about this? Is it okay? Maybe. Okay. 聞こえますか？大丈夫？
聞こえます。
Yeah, I hear you.
Can you hear us?
Okay, then. いきますね。
Yeah.
はい、じゃあいきますね。はい。Yeah. But the title of my presentation is "The Battle of Okinawa is Not Over," even though this is 80 years after. This is anniversary for 80 years after, but I think the Battle of Okinawa in a way still was never ended. So, let me start my presentation. Okinawa through our eyes. Okay. We live within the legacy of Battle of Okinawa, the battle that for us has never truly ended. I'm from Urasoe. There's a military base called Camp Kuensa. Ever since I was a child, I've lived with a quiet awareness. Okay. I keep going. Okay, sorry. I took some time. Anyway, yeah. Okay. Right. So, I'm from Urasoe. There's a military base called Camp Kuensa. Ever since I was a child, I've lived with a quiet awareness, a world on the other side of the fences. And every time I look through those fences, I couldn't help but wonder, is it really America that's being fenced in? Or it is us, the people of Okinawa, who are the one to be surrounded? Because from their side, they can come and go as they please. But we are not allowed to set foot on the other side of the fence, even though this is our land. And Henoko, even now, even today, in this moment, people continue to sit and protest every single day. Without change, without pause, they show their will. And right beside them, as if to mock that determination, truck after truck dump soil into our precious sea. This is the Okinawa that Okinawans see. When I was in high school, I studied abroad in the United States. And the things that surprised me the most was the simple fact that there are Americans who are not part of the music. Because to Okinawa, America means US military. In other words, we don't know an America that doesn't wear a uniform. Even now, we live under the skies, constantly crossed by fighter jets. They come and go as they please, loud, fast, and completely indifferent. But of course, they are fighter jets. They don't hear us. They don't care about what we think. It doesn't matter if it's the middle of night or early morning. It doesn't matter if we are in the middle of happy moment or having quiet, important conversation. To them, none of that matters. They arrive suddenly with the defending role and shaking the ladders of our windows and walls, our lives. Always they come, as if to remind us that we are still living in the shadow. The sound, the vibration, the disruption, I feel it now, just like my grandfather and grandmother once did. The same sound they heard, the same sky that they lived. I still feel it today. It is a kind of abnormal reality, something people in the rest of Japan never pass through it. In this slide, I briefly describe the Okinawan society and reality looks like in the perspective of younger generation of Okinawans. Living within ongoing about of Okinawa means we live with injustice. We live with danger, contradiction, and structural discrimination. Living with danger. Around us, schools cannot be rebuilt. Why? Because unexploded bombs lie underneath of the foundation. And removing them takes unimaginable amount of time. So the students are learning in temporary buildings. But what's even more frightening is, all the students before them, for years, have been learning on top of bombs, living, growing, and laughing on the ground that could have exploded at any moment. They say it will take 70 to 100 more years to remove all the bombs. And from the skies, things are always falling. Tunnels, containers, windows, helicopters, and jets. The US military drops things as they fly over us. And we, the people who are alive, must live every day under that danger. Our land, our mountain, our sea, and our rivers. This grand nature is the soul of Okinawa. It is us. But the nature, the soul, is being polluted by what flows out of the military base. And even worse, we are not allowed to know everything. We are not even allowed to understand the full extent of the damage. So I ask you, when did this place become Americans? We are now afraid to even go outside in our own land. We are afraid because we don't know when we will be free. We don't know when we will be killed. Just like 80 years ago, someone may come toward us with a gun. And even if we say no, they won't listen. Please try to imagine this. Imagine the fear it is if it was your mother, your sister, your closest friend, or your daughter. The fear of knowing knowing they might be hurt, that someone might walk away freely, protected by military, protected by the Japanese government, and then walk through the street of Okinawa, smiling, living freely, as if nothing happened. They enjoy their freedom, while we are still waiting for ours. And to live within an ongoing battle of Okinawa means to live within contradiction. The very basis that causes us much suffering are something that we cannot even speak about in public. We cannot share our pain, our question, and our thought. To live within an ongoing battle of Okinawa is to live through the constant stream of contradiction and emptiness. Even I speak those words, Even the friends sitting right in front of me, their partner, their family, they might be connected to the military bases. The person I'm talking to, or even I myself, might be working inside a base. Is there another path? Do we have any other choice? That is how deeply, how quietly, how heavily the battle of Okinawa lives on inside of our everyday lives. But to me, the greatest contradiction is that our generation, the young people of Okinawa, can no longer even imagine an Okinawa without US military bases. The Battle of Okinawa has entered so far into the depth of our heart, and it has stolen even our imagination. To live within the Battle of Okinawa is to live in the midst of injustice. 80 years ago, a grand war was fought here. Okinawa was used as a disposable stone, sacrificed for the sake of Japan. And still today, nothing has changed. Okinawa continues to be positioned as a necessary sacrifice for the peace of Japan. Okinawan people become the sure human seal for the Japanese military. They died for someone else's peace. And now, in the very land, in a structure that has not changed since 80 years ago, we are still made to carry the burden to protect Japan's so-called peace. As long as Japan continues to pursue this version of peace, the Battle of Okinawa will never come to an end. As long as the bases remain, those fences will keep reminding us we are still living in the Battle of Okinawa. Thank you.
Thank you, Hatsuho, for sharing your really important mana'o with us. Can you hear me? Okay, she still can't hear me, but it's okay. So one thing I wanted to share, though, which is really cool, is that Hatsuho is learning a lot about Aina-based education from a lot of great Hawaiian kinds of community groups and organizations, and her goal is to take that back to Okinawa so that a younger generation of Okinawans can connect with their Aina and their vai and stuff. And so I think that's one thing to feel hopeful about. Next we'll be hearing from Tatsuki Kohatsu, luckily who is in the flesh, so no tech difficulties, knock on wood. So he was born and raised in Nishihara in Okinawa, and he moved to Oahu in 2019 to pursue his PhD in geography at UH Manoa, where he's conducting research on militarization in Okinawa. So everyone, please welcome Tatsuki.
Thank you, Sam. And Nipe David Hatsuho, if you are still there on Zoom. And thank you all for coming and spending time with us. So Hatsuho and I, as we grew up in Okinawa, we wanted to reflect on our experiences growing up in Okinawa and think about what it means to remember the stories of our families and elders. For me, as I grew up on Okinawa Island, Irei No Hi was always something, a day that meant something. But especially the past 2 years have made me think more about what it means to remember the stories since the passing of my maternal grandmother. A conversation I had with her still stays with me. So 2 summers ago, I was back on Okinawa Island. So I went to see Grandma with my younger sister. As we entered the house, we found her sitting on the couch. So I sat in a chair by the window and my sister on the couch next to Grandma. Grandma quietly pointed out a pile of newspaper articles. Those were about Battle of Okinawa. She had started to collect these articles to show her children and grandchildren. She said that it was always very difficult for her to talk about her experiences of the war because it was such an incredibly difficult time to go through. But seeing other people sharing about their experiences and seeing what was happening in Okinawa at present changed her mind, Grandma said. Seeing how important it is now to tell these stories to younger generations, she felt the need to share her story too. So she shared some of her story with us. At school, children were trained to learn how to use weapons such as spears. As a diligent young Okinawan woman, she practiced self-defense and learned how to use some of the weapons, she said. And she paused in a moment of contemplation and told us that she and Grandma and her family were on Ie Island at the time. But one day, her dad told his family to go to Okinawa Island, saying that he would be there till later. So Grandma and her family came to Okinawa Island, but it was the last time she saw her dad. Just a few days after she arrived on Okinawa Island, the battle started. She said that her dad probably knew that the battle was beginning, as he was working in the communication unit of the Japanese military. If it hadn't been for him, she might not have made it through the war, Grandma said. Once the battle started, there wasn't enough food. So one day, her mom was trying to get out to get some food. And that day, aircraft hovered over the mountains where they were hiding and dropped bombs. Grandma saw the US ships filling the horizon of the sea. And while all that was happening, the Japanese emperor and government kept saying that this country would never be defeated. And this battle was to protect the nation. As I listened to Grandma, I turned to my sister, who was also there to listen to her. And I wonder what was going through her mind. And I still think about what Grandma wanted us to remember and what she wanted us to think about. As we left Grandma's house, an osprey was flying over the city. It was a reminder that growing up on Okinawa Island was also to live with the US military presence. We constantly hear that this is the only way Okinawa is an important strategic site. So the 15% of Okinawa Island is still occupied and used by the US military, because this is the only way. This is the only way, despite the fact that people are not safe to drink water. And the US military continues to deny the request to even identify and determine the cause of water contamination. This is the only way, despite the fact that sexual assaults by US military personnel continue to take place with protection for the military personnel, but not for those who are subject to the sexual violence. This is the only way where more destruction is being done to Ora Bay, an important ecological cultural site. And it goes on despite over the decades of opposition and reported infeasibility of the construction of the new US military installation at the bay. And this is the only way where more destruction is being done to other islands, such as Guam and Hawaii, for the transfer of the military personnel from Okinawa, as they describe it to be the reduction of the burden for Okinawa. And this is the only way the militarization of the REQUIEM Islands continues now with the deployment of Japan's self-defense forces to islands of Yaeyama, Yonaguni, and Amami. This is the only way where you would wake up to a missile alert at 5 in the morning, thinking where you'd go and where you'd hide your children. even if it was just for a precautionary alert. And this is the only way where you would constantly worry about the possibility of evacuation, where you can never be sure if you'd be able to return home, or you'd have financial support to live somewhere else, or even to stay with their families. And just to be clear, these are not the things in the past, but the things that continue in Okinawa. Militarization causes violence to bodies, lands, and our relationships to each other. The violence masked in the idea of this is the only way Okinawa is a strategic site. But as I think about Grandma's story and now thinking about what's going on in Okinawa, I have to ask if this is the only way. And what does it mean to say that this is the only way for our next generations, for our life to come? And as I reflect on her story and ongoing militarization in Okinawa, I cannot also help and think about what's the ongoing militarization, how the ongoing militarization continues to affect Hawaii, Guam, and other islands in the Pacific. The ongoing issues of militarization continue to occupy lands and contaminate water, and how the ongoing issues of militarization and colonialism inflict extreme violence in Palestine and many other places. So as I think about what it means to remember the stories of Battle of Okinawa, I feel the need to think about how we carry these stories forward through our relationships with those who share the stories with us, and also through our relationships with each other, to listen to each other's stories. I think it opens up more space for more conversations to ask if this ought to be the only way, and if we can imagine our places being more than just merely the strategic sites or sites of violence. As I reflect on the stories of my families and elders, I think about what it means to remember the Battle of Okinawa and carry these stories forward, and remembering across time and space, or maybe imagining something more. If any, for coming today, and I'm so grateful that we get to spend time together and maybe talk story more. Thank you.
Thank you, Tatsuki, for your really powerful reflection and for bringing your grandmother and your sister into the space with us today. Okay, so we started a little late and we are going to go over a bit. I'm very sorry, everyone. But it's okay. So obviously, if you need to get going because of time, we completely understand. But we would love for you to stay for the full program. For you to program. Also, well, okay. I have it in my notes, so I'm just gonna say it. I think for everyone here and everyone tuning in on YouTube, it would be good to take I wrote 10 seconds, but now it's gonna be 5 seconds. We're gonna take 5 seconds to stand up and stretch. So we've been sitting, we've been listening. Just take 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, that's it. That's all we have time for, unfortunately. But I hope, yes. Okay, so next up we have Brandon and Jesse will be performing a song for us. And so just really quickly, Brandon Ufukusuku-ing is a fourth generation Uchinanshu, born and raised in Hawaii. He grew up with Okinawan identity, but it was really when he moved to Okinawa and lived there from 2009 to 2014 that his eyes were open to what's happening there and what it really means to be Uchinanshu. And so now that he's back home on Oahu, he continues to advocate for Okinawa through Uchinaguchi language, music, and other social issues. And joining him is Jesse Shiro. Shiroma from Hilo, Hawaii, an active member of the Hawaii Uchinanchu community participating in music and martial arts. He's invested in perpetuating and preserving our shared history and the memories of our Uyafafuji as an archivist at the Hawaii State Archives. So thank you so much, Brandon and Jesse, and please take it away.
Gusuyo chuo kanabira wanne kane ohe kara choru Brandon di choi bin chuya dusiga no Jesse Shiroma tu majong hikaraya di umto bin yutasarugu tu unige sabira. Hi, everybody. We're going to thank you for giving us your time. We're going to share just one song right now. We're going to do two, but we'll save you guys some time. So we'll do one song now, and then we'll finish up with another song after a couple more speakers. So this first song is a traditional Okinawan song, but goes by the name of Hamachiduri. It's actually a real popular dance piece, and over the years, this song has really changed. The meaning of this song has really changed for me personally through various experiences. One experience, actually, I played this song in front of Mr. Furugen, who we saw a video of earlier. He actually came to visit Hawaii with some other POWs who were held at Honouliuli. So that was a big change for me and this song right here. The song itself doesn't speak about war or anything directly related to Irei No Hi, but what it really gets at for me is that war just it tears people apart, tears families apart, tears apart those human connections, which is really not what human nature should be. So we'll have the words up on the screen with some kind of basic, kind of loose English translation. So this is Hamachiduri. 旅山宿い草のやれファのまこだにてんわしららんわやのやでわやのそば地上や浜をてちょいちょいな旅宿にざみまこだやでそばだておびらさんかしよわのやでよわのちらさ地上や浜をてちょいちょいな やひざみてんてるちやれちやひとちあまんながみよだきやれよの空地上や雨をてちょいちょいなIrei No Hi debut.
It's live here. All right. I'm Wanne Pete Shimazaki, Doctor Jikoen board member. Welcome you all here. We could have the Nakamura kids join us up here. So, what do we do with all this? This is hardly about the past, right? This is meditation on our present human condition. And so we like Jikoen, plant some seeds for peace, right? So we have this thing called the golden chain of love in our, it's actually a children's little prayer, if you want to call it that. If you came in, did you, these little cards here, the chain of command. So, oh, you guys want to do it at the podium? Or, okay, yeah. You guys want to do it at the podium? Okay, it's up to you. I'll hold the mic for you guys. Or you want to come out here in the front? Okay, why don't you guys come over here? Yeah, that's why I was over here. And I'll hold the mic for you guys. You guys hold the mic for you. Oops, sorry, okay, you guys. Okay, so they're gonna lead us. This is something we do every Sunday morning, most Sunday mornings at 9 a.m. Everyone's welcome to join us. So this is Camden and Caitlin Nakamura. We're so gracious because these are our leaders, right? We need to plant those seeds of peace today. So thank you. Thank you. So thank you for giving us hope, and you can help us like we do on Sundays, read the Golden Chain of Love. Yeah, and folks, if you like to, if you feel you can join and sing it along, okay?
I am a link in Amida Buddha's golden chain of love that stretches around the world. I must keep my link bright and strong. I will try to be kind and gentle to every living thing and protect all who are weaker than myself. I will try to think pure and beautiful thoughts, to say pure and beautiful words, and do pure and beautiful deeds, knowing that what I do now depends not only on my happiness or unhappiness, but also that of others. May every link in Mia's golden chain of love be bright and strong, and may we all attain perfect peace.
Namo Amidats. Thank you, thank you. Thank you so much, Caitlin and Camden. So as we're moving towards the end of our program, this being the situation now we're having in the world, so we have, yeah, okay, all right.
Yes, thank you so much. So next, I'd like to welcome up Kristen Young and Preston Iha, who are both from Faith Action for Community Equity. And so their organization's mission is compelled by faith to act justly and speak boldly for all of the divine's creation in Hawaii. So thank you, Kristen and Preston, for being here.
Okay. Hi, everyone. It's good to see you all here. Growing up, I was told of how the people of Okinawa and the Uchinanchu of Hawaii are one. And visiting Okinawa a few years ago during the worldwide Uchinanchu Festival, I was able to witness this connection and saw how our bonds as Shimanchu continue despite our diversity. But what I also saw were the demonstrations and the frustrations of an occupied people seeking liberation from US militarism and Japanese imperialism. I'm going to be speaking a bit more from my perspective, again from Faith Action, but also just having grown up and being a part of the Christian tradition. And integral to the Christian witness is the belief that every individual bears the imago Dei, the image of God. The recognition of this inherent divine image thus informs how we ought to live and be. The way we treat others in love or in hate is how we treat God or the divine. The Battle of Okinawa, as well as the imperialism that the Okinawan people experienced prior to and after the war, was in complete disregard to the image of God within the Okinawan people. The forces that sought to control Okinawa fractured relationships between us created beings and therefore between the oppressors and our God. But as for those who suffered at the hands of the violence, conquest, and death, they sought an alternative, which, according to our Christian tradition, brought them closer into the heart of God because they sought peace and love. Another critical Christian teaching is that of the calling, referring to God's voice leading us towards God's intended destination for our individual and collective lives. Family, for us, especially for Uchinanchu, our calling is to join with our relatives in their struggle for liberation and the pursuit of peace and beloved community. But this is not intended to be the work of an individual. It's the calling of the collective to action. Through our various organizations and partnerships across ethnic, cultural, religious, national, or any other boundaries, we take the lessons passed on to us by our forebears and commit ourselves to one another. We commit ourselves to ending oppression and seeking liberation for all peoples from these Hawaiian islands, which likewise remain occupied, to our ancestral home of Okinawa. From rejecting the US Empire's violence against Iran to seeking freedom and justice for the Palestinian people. This is more than politics. This is about recognizing that the faces of those who have been shot, bombed, beaten, tortured, and dehumanized reflect the same God that you and I do. And I won't pretend that the path to which we have been called, at least in our Christian understanding, is an easy one, or that we will even see this destination in our lifetimes. But what I am confident of, inspired by the hope of my faith and the spirit and determination of the Okinawan people, is that in the end, we will win. All of us who have committed ourselves to liberation, justice, and healing, we will win. The path towards peace is perilous, but it is anything but solitary. And as we commemorate the 80th anniversary of the Battle of Okinawa, I look forward to that future when our people and all peoples are finally free. Mahalo.
Hi, everyone. We're so honored and grateful to be here as mixed Uchinanchu descendants ourselves, but also to be invited with our identity as people of faith. It's my first time at an Irei No Hi event, and I just wanted to say that I see so many familiar faces from the community, and it's just a reminder to me that our issues are connected, and so are our solutions. So I'll just close this time with a prayer, and the prayer is for ourselves, because I believe that transformation and peace starts within each of us. So I invite you to take whatever prayerful posture you can to connect whatever life-giving, life-affirming source that sustains you. Creator, we gather today to remember, not just to look back at the past, but to come together for a shared future. We come to you with our concern, our faults, and shame as we witness the ongoing violence in our world that doesn't seem to rest. As death tolls continue to rise, some of us have seen pain and been unable to stop it, while others of us have ignored the cries of others or have grown numb. God, disturb our souls so that we might disrupt a status quo that results in the suffering of creation, our fellow humans, and the earth alike. Forgive us when we willingly allow our dollars to support occupation and destruction. Forgive us when we fail to see that the salvation and liberation of us and our neighbors are intertwined, when we believe the lies that our safety and security can come at the expense of others. Forgive us when we prioritize our comfort and privileges over people's lives. Forgive us when we say, "This is just how it is," instead of, "It doesn't have to be this way." Forgive us when we dismiss our power, when we give in to helplessness, and underestimate what we can do when we are empowered by love. Loving God, in you there is no us and them. You love us all equally. You love both sides the same, but you are not neutral. You side with the oppressed. Give us hope in this, that your might is not shown in military force or in the control of land and resources, but rather in the planting of seeds amidst bombs, in the smiles amidst destruction, displacement, and dispossession, in people's care for others even when they themselves are in need of care, in the will to live despite every obstacle imaginable. God of peace, help us not to fight each other, but rather to confront the systems and ideologies that uphold supremacy and require us to be divided. We know that true peace requires justice. Do not let us be content until all your people can live abundantly as you intended. God, be with us in our grief and joy. Let us feel the heaviness of each life stolen, and let us continue to delight in the wonders of life, knowing that all people deserve this. Remind us that we are not required to be miserable in this broken and hurting world, but that you require us to act justly, love mercy, and walk humbly with you. Transforming God, we are desperate for change. Help us to learn from the past. It is easy to repeat cycles and get swept up in the ways of the world. Help us to discern which voices and actions are of you, of love. Open our hearts and minds so that we may be transformed and in turn take part in revealing your kingdom here on earth. Amen. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Kristen and Preston. So when you all signed in or walked through, you may have saw that we are accepting donations for an organization called Buy Now, a small grassroots hui that funds water and other needs to be purchased and distributed in Gaza. And so we're really excited to have a member of Buy Now with us here today, Jordan Nakamura, who's going to say a little bit more about their work. And we're hoping to put the QR code on the screen so that if you all feel so compelled to, that you could make a donation to support their important work in Palestine. So thank you so much, Jordan.
Aloha mai kako. I'm Jordan Kapona Nakamura, and I'm here representing our hui Vai Now. We're just a group of people who are living here, who was seeing what was happening in Palestine, Gaza, and we just wanted to extend some kind of solidarity materially to people who are also living under occupied lands. We're not any kind of special people. We don't have any, necessarily like political affiliations. We just got together and under the awareness that, imperialist people who want to steal land and who want to kill others, they will get away with exactly everything that we let them. And without, people doing things about it, then they'll just kind of continue to have their way. And just one small way that we were able to give donations was through a family friend who has contacts on the ground in Gaza. who we keep in contact with and hear from the ground how they need support and what is happening. So we're developing relationships with them, and we're able to hear directly like what is their greatest needs. And these places that they service, they're places that are they've been very difficult for other kind of more established orgs to get to because of kind of like these political issues there. There are just regions that are really hard to access. And so these people are kind of just like helping their neighbors really. So Vainao essentially is just a collection of people who are helping their neighbors, ordinary people. And all we're doing is calling on other ordinary people to recognize the humanity in each other and to offer support. So right now we have contacts in Gaza who they are distributing basically like they're distributing groceries and other needs. Initially, the project was focused on water because it began when there was, before the first quote-unquote ceasefire, there was that was the primary need was for water. Vai. So Vai now means water for you, and it's just to to kind of like draw this pilina and to acknowledge that Hawaii, as we are always talking about, right? Water is life. Ola ikavai. We are wanting to recognize that the water crisis in Gaza, is a man-made crisis. It's not the drought there, the famine there is completely arbitrarily created by Zionist, imperialists, and the starvation, the mass starvation of the people there is completely manufactured, and it doesn't have to happen. And as you know, there's aid trucks from virtually every country on earth waiting at the gates and are not being allowed in because of primarily the efforts of the US and the Zionist entity in Palestine to prevent that aid from getting in. And so right now, we're going on like the 5th day where the Kanyunis municipality has lost fuel, so it cannot provide water services for like over 900,000 people. And that was the main focus, right? Like the water. Since then, we've had the fortunate ability to build some relationships, and this is all credited to the people that are on the ground in Gaza. Our ground team, they've been making relationships with folks, who were forced to flee factories full of winter clothes. And as you are aware, the winter that sets in during kind of our summer, it really endangers literally the lives of the children. So we were able to see a winter clothes campaign, because when you're a refugee fleeing, you do not have the ability to carry with you all of the clothing that you would need to survive the winter conditions. And so we were able to kind of get funding to provide winter clothes for children. We were able to fund a distribution of groceries. And since the quote-unquote ceasefire has lifted, the goods in Gaza have really skyrocketed. I mean, this has been true ever since the beginning. I think the last I checked, it was like something like 17 USD was for like a single small onion. So the grocery goods are exorbitant, and this is pretty much growing every day. So anything that you can give to help really goes a long way, because people there, even people who, may have had resources under different circumstances now are finding themselves unable to purchase like basic goods. And so this is the QR code for Buy Now, and it leads to our GoFundMe page. Since the Trump administration has done some crackdowns on Palestinian organizing, a lot of our crew has removed our personal information from this campaign to provide safety. So you will not see like my name on here or anything, but it is, it can be found through just typing in Google or any other search engine that is not supporting the Zionist entity. Wai Now, which is just WAI space NAU. And that should lead you directly to this GoFundMe page. Pretty much it's like the first couple hits. And we are accepting donations through that. We also have another member of our Hui, Auntie Barbara Ultimus, who's here, and she's been super instrumental in helping out. So you can talk to either one of us after if you want more information. I know I'm only having 5 minutes, but yeah, so thank you so much for just bringing your support and your, your thirst and your work for peace here and for thinking about the people of Gaza. And just one more thing, I'm currently on a hunger strike right now, or not a hunger strike, but a solidarity fast for 6 Chicago members of JVP Chicago who are on an indefinite hunger strike until the siege of Gaza is lifted and the US stops funding Israel. And so I will not be able to partake with you in this delicious like food after, but just as you pray, as you keep people in mind, keep Gaza in mind, of course, and all of Palestine, all of the West Asian kind of like folks who are receiving the brunt end of imperialist violence, but also those of us, who know and who are putting a physical manifestation of our protest, and just be thinking of these people in Chicago who are on a hunger strike in solidarity with Gaza. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Jordan. So we'll have this up actually we're going to switch it to the lyrics for the last song that will be performed, but we do have physical QR codes in the front that you can scan, or you can follow the instructions that Jordan just laid out for us. So I do want to welcome Brandon and Jesse back, now with Pete on bass, to perform our last song before we move into the end of our event and our time together. Thank you, everybody.
Test. All right, if I could, I'll quickly explain my lack of composure on the first song. I avoided explaining to try to save time, but I figured I should explain myself. So as I mentioned, I got to play that song for Furugen-san, who we watched the interview with earlier. And as I played, he and 2 other men about the same age, they were just weeping, trying to sing along with me. So every time I sing that song, that's the image that I see. So it's kind of, anyway. So just so you know. All right, so I think we have the words up on the screen here. Song that's probably pretty familiar to most of you, a song called Imagine. And this was, there's an Okinawan version which was thought up by the Okinawan Peace Movement, who is one of the groups that sits in at Hinoko to try and prevent the building of the new base, which just keeps pushing through. It's a U.S. military base that's being pushed through by the Japanese government. So both sides are just not helping the Okinawans at all. Okay. So if you please sing along with us. If you know the original song, you can just follow these words and it should be. Imagine there's no basis. It's easy if you try. No fences to divide us. No warplanes in our sky. Imagine all the people living for today. Imagine no more armies. It's not so hard to do. No people trained for warfare. Just folks like me and you. Imagine all the people living lives in peace. You may say that we're dreamers, but we're not the only ones who dream of peace for Okinawa, a world without war guns, no poison in the water, the way it used to be. A quiet sky above us, below rich coral reef. Imagine Okinawa return to us at last. You may say I'm a dreamer, but I'm not the only one who dreams of an Okinawa at peace underneath the sun.
Debidu, everyone. Sorry for all the delays, but we are so grateful that you joined us today, and we are now officially closing the program. I had so many acknowledgments to give and so little time, but first, let's give it up for the Jiko and Ohana that just helped provide so much food for you folks. I gotta point that out. So before you leave, don't let that food and aloha go in vain, and please fellowship, eat, talk story, or just grab and go if you got it, no shame, okay? And then I wanted to thank all the hoa, that's just the hui that helped organize this, but we don't have time. There's a lot of folks here, but a lot of hands went in this. What I want to do is close in the interest of time and noting that how we close now is at Jikoen we offer shoko or incense. Okay, so we're now wrapping down the program. Sensei is going to start us off, and folks who want to offer incense, the gesture of peace, you're welcome to. There'll be a line over here, and then after that, please grab food, talk story, and again, Ipe Nihebidu. Thank you, everyone. We'll end this program with incense soaking and fellowship, food,